So something needs to be said here. It's why I always stress critical thinking on my channel. People need to bear witness to the kind of Christianity that is at play, that the legislators practice, that proponents of Christian nationalism, and evangelicism. What people don't realize, who actually aren't self-aware, they're not aware of themselves, they don't know who they are, they haven't gone through that process, they haven't deconstructed the level of brainwashing and propaganda that has gone on for generations that impacted self-formation, because they would then realize that what those legislators are doing is that they are using a form of brainwashing that cultists use to instill morality. Morality should be instilled by, first, one, ask a child who they are. That child should be going on the road to self-discovery to understand who they are outside of their parents, outside of the propaganda that they get from television, from their churches, from their friends, and from their families. Because what American society refuses to realize, and this is something that goes on in all societies, you are often not allowed the autonomy to understand yourself and to figure out who you are before you were told who you have to be. And these legislators think, and again, they're part of this lazy vulture class thinking, in which you tell the slave who the slave is, and you tell them who you are, and then you punish them when they do not reiterate and react out of what you have told them. This is what they are doing. Children aren't slaves. They're not blocks of wood to be formed in a way that produces a kind of person that they gotta be because they're your slave. What they're doing is the most ignorant form of teaching a child morality, because they don't actually believe that a child should first get to know themselves. And that takes a long time of learning. It's discovery, learning, and unlearning the trash that you were taught. What's most important is that children are taught that. How do you know yourself? Who are you? How do you discover who you are? Not, hey, you are who I tell you to be. And that's what pasting a bunch of rules that don't teach you morality. Hey, don't kill. Okay, why shouldn't I kill? So I guess class is going to be spent talking to a bunch of little kids about why they shouldn't kill. I have another video on my channel, and it's also on my main channel. And it talks about, it's a book you need to go get. On this channel, the video is about maybe 2 videos back. I'm wearing a pink t-shirt. You need to go get that book because you need to understand what the 10 Commandments are. You need to understand the fact that the 10 Commandments were written to, and this is not to the commenter, okay? Appreciate the commenter, and I love their videos. Deeply appreciated that people are going through the process of pushing back about what we're seeing in society, because they risk their own personal peace and sanity. And he is a soldier in the battle against the nonsense that we're seeing in our times. But I want you all to go get that book. It was relatively cheap when I got it. You can order it on Amazon if you want to. If you're trying to avoid Amazon, you just go online or go on YouTube. You can always go on YouTube, and there are plenty of people reading you that book and then also discussing it. You need to understand what the 10 Commandments were, why they came about. You need to understand the fact that there are multiple versions of the 10 Commandments, and depending on which variation or kind of Christianity you're looking at, you may get a specific kind of Christianity. And this video is long, so I thank you guys for watching it. If you had to speed me up, I will not blame you. But I think what I'm saying is important because people do not understand that America is a cult within and of itself, and it operates when we're forming children and forming adults based on plantation logic. It's why we all ask you to research Black history, because Black history is American history, and it teaches you. You would have been aware and awake to how people are propagandized, inculcated, and brainwashed before they even get to learn who they are and how they think. And most people spend the rest of their lives trying to go to a therapist to try to unwind all that crap, which I fully suggest to people. If you cannot afford it, I completely understand. Then go through the process. I'm not a therapist, but one of the things that you should start doing is understand who you are. And then you need to inventory what you were taught and who you were taught to be. And then the society in which you lived, like those first seven years, and then go out to 10 years, and then go out to 15 years, and remember. And then you will find at the basis of that some of your core dysfunctions. A lot of people on this app try to call that the shadow work. You know, why do you react the way you react? Why do you think the way you think? All of this is so important. So if you're not learning this from me, find somebody you can learn from. And you need to start getting to understand yourself. And you need to get to understand, once you say, well, this is who I am, where did that come from? And vote out every Christian who is, whether they call themselves an evangelical or a nationalist, they're trying to create a theocracy in which white males find themselves back at the top. They don't actually care about the Christianity. They don't care about your children. They don't care whether they learn any form of morality. The basis of what they care about is that they have power and they have control. And the way they know to gain and garner power and control is by using the Bible. They're just like Zionists. It is Zionism and the cult of current Christianity that we see here in America. And any person who, whether they're atheist or not, and they're using the same tactics, at the core of all of this is the desire for power and control from people who have not even gone through the self-analysis, deconstruction, and therapy to understand what in the world they're doing. Because if they understood that, and then they actually did the research on how toxic their trash, self-ideologies, self-machinations, their lust for power and control is, once they understood how trash all of that was, they would let it go if they weren't fundamentally and indefeasibly evil. So anyway, I just want to encourage you guys, go on the journey.